Alright, YouTubers and all you Xterra lovers that are trying to keep your Xterra going forever. This is a 2002 Xterra in great shape, perfect body, great frame. Done a lot of work to it. Of course, you can see a lot of information on my channel, what I've done to it. Even dropping the transmission out of it and fixing the rear main seal. So right now what we're doing, we're fixing a leak. I had a leak earlier over by the power steering. This hose on the bottom of this power steering unit right here, this has got a clamp on it they have from the factory, but I find a lot of times these things strip out, so when you tighten it down, the clamp doesn't really tighten like you think it does. So what you got to do is just take it off and get you a regular clamp like I got there, and that'll take care of that leak on that hose. And a lot of times you'll see power steering slowly running down this hose and dripping out on the bottom of the engine. So something there you can take care of fairly easy. And the other thing is on the driver's side here, we have our throttle body right here, and we have a small coolant leak right here. If you look down on the manifold, well, of course I have a new manifold on this. And I have a shield there, and you can see where it's been kind of dripping there, where it's kind of stained up and everything. And what it is, we got a coolant hose that comes up here and goes through this guy here and goes back through the engine, or one of the two. And what it does, it controls this guy right here. This is your temperature throttle control. There's a little valve here. When this heats up, it pushes out on this valve, and it's kind of pushes on the throttle right here and adjusts your idle a little bit. And you got a couple springs here. The one spring here, you have to kind of put a screwdriver in here, flip it back, and once you get it flipped back, you have a little tiny screw here that you got to take out in this little clamp. It kind of goes on here like this, and this is what actually holds this in here like this. Now the way you get this out, you got to take a screwdriver, like I said, and flip this piece back here and pull this out with a pair of pliers. Now there's a seal right here, and I just cleaned this up a little bit. You can see how much corrosion there is in there and everything. These seals start to leak after a while, and it's just kind of annoying. It's not a big deal, but if you keep losing antifreeze all winter, you got to keep putting it in because of the leak, then it's kind of annoying. But you want to keep your antifreeze topped off in these vehicles for maximum cooling. So what I'm doing now is trying to clean this up a little bit, and you can see we got a little seal right here. I'm going to pop the seal off. It looks like it's okay. It looks like it's just corroded and dirty. I'm going to take the seal off of this and clean this brass piece up. By the way, this is brass, and I clean this up well enough and put maybe a little bit of RTV sealant, put it back in here, this will quit leaking. And the reason I'm going to put a little bit of sealant in here is I don't want to have to take it back off again in case this seal is wore out. And this is a particular seal. If you look at it, it's kind of flat. It doesn't have a roundness to it like I do in a lot of my seals in my kit. And let me show you my kit here. Kind of like this, although, you know, I would almost bet a guy could probably use a brand new seal and stick on her, but I don't think I have any that large. No, I do not. This is actually a pretty large seal. This is probably a 1/2 inch, and the other kit I have here, let's just see what we got in here. Nah, I don't have anything that big. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and clean this up to our best ability here and put this back in, and that should stop our leak. So in order to get this off, it's pretty easy. You got to take your cover here for your air cleaner off. You got 4 bolts you got to take off, and I believe this is a 12 millimeter. A lot of 12 and 14 millimeter bolts on these Nissan Xterras. And you got a hose right here. You got to unhook, and there's a secondary hose. Let me just make this a lot simpler for you guys. It sits on her like this. You got 2 hoses, one here and one here. This one on this side is easy to get to. If I can find it, what I do with it here, it's actually right here. And the other one is, let's see, right there. Hang on a second. Alright, this will make a little more sense. This sits on her like this. You got this hose right here that goes right here where my finger is. You can see it sticking out right here, and you got a secondary hose that comes up right here, and that hose goes right there on that side. on the bottom there. So what you got to do is get this one here off first. It's easy to get to. The clamp it's right here. You can get your pliers and get this off first and bolt this, then take this off and move your cable out of the way. It's real easy to do. Then the secondary hose here, I found out the easiest way to take this off is don't take it off. Don't take it off here. Actually take it off back up in here, because there's more room to get your pliers up in here and slide this clamp off. For some reason this clamp here was so tight, by the time you slide it across this little area here that's kind of fat, where you can see it's kind of flared right here, this hose clamp, I could not get it off. It wouldn't come back. So if I pushed it forward, it would still not come off the hose. But back here, it's just easier to get to, and you can slide it off and slide the clamp back on this here, and you can see my old clamp still here. There it is. Just get it out of the way. So that's how I got that off. So other than that, there's a gasket here. It's not that big of a deal. This one's in good shape yet. And this is the only leak I had, so I wanted to go ahead and fix this. And I thought, you know, grab the camera here, and maybe somebody's got this problem. I'm sure somebody else does, because I hear a lot of people talking about this. All right, so that's about it. And there's the back side of the plate. Pretty simple. Like I said, the water comes in here, the coolant goes through here and comes back out that. And this little rod pushes on this guy here, and this guy here, your throttle linkage, actually rides on this little piece right here. And as this kind of gets smaller, or pushes this out, then it kind of turns this slowly and adjusts your idle, in a nutshell. So but anyway, so we'll go ahead and take this apart and clean it up best I can, and go ahead and put it together. And like I said, the only way you can get this out is you have to take a screwdriver and actually turn this, get it out of the way, because this is a pretty tough spring. And once you get this up out of the way, then this will slide in and slide out. So there you go. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll clean this up and put it back in. All right, so moving right along. I actually found some seals, big seals, but you see these are round. Would not work. This is a flat type of a seal, and it wasn't quite wide enough. All right, so here's our piece all cleaned up with a wire brush, and there's the back of it. So I took a small pick and went in here and cleaned up everything I could find in this area down here where this goes in. Pretty clean. So we're going to put the seal back on it and put a little bit of RTV, just a light coating, and that should fix the leak permanently. And other than that, we'll put it back together. So when you do this, you know, kind of take your time at it. And when you go to put this all back on, one thing you can do is go ahead and slide one of your clips back on here, back here where this tube is. Get it back here out of the way, and go ahead and stick this one tube here on. Put the clamp on here, and that just makes it a little bit easier, and slide everything back together. So let's go ahead and stick this in, and hopefully no more leaks. All right, I think we got enough there. Should be just fine. Just a light coating. Now we'll go ahead and drop this back down in here, kind of like that. Went right in. So looks good. All right, perfect. I think. I don't think we'll have any more leaks. All we got to do is put our little clamp here on and our little screw. Start putting everything back together. So that's how you take care of that. And hey, let me know where you're watching from right now, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and put this all back together and start it up, test it, and make sure we don't have no more leaks. And one other thing you can do real quick is get you some intake cleaner. Go ahead and clean all that out like I did there, and clean this out on the bottom here. It's pretty clean now, and that way you don't have to worry about any more cleaning. All right, so we'll be back here in a few minutes, and we'll wrap everything up. Alright, there's our last clamp, and you can see I put that one here on, back here in the back, kind of first, and this was already hooked up, and the other one's right here, and I slid the hose on, got the clamp on, and now all you have to do is kind of push it up like this and bolt it right up. Now be careful you don't knock off your gasket or tear it or anything. Mine's a little loose there, but it's in good shape, and everything's all back together. And bolt this up, And we'll put our air cleaner back on and start everything up. Now you can see what's setting here. When this piece here pushes out on the bottom, it turns this, and you can see this little thing here. It kind of rides on this, and this is how it adjusts the idle from hot to cold when the idle slows down. So, all right, so it wasn't too bad of a job. Saved myself about $350. This is what they wanted to do with the Nissan. I called them and see how much it would charge me, and this is what they said. I did it for, I don't know, probably $1. I don't know, it wasn't much here to buy. I actually had everything. I had the RTV sealant and everything, and the know-how and a wire brush, and got everything all back together here. Looks like in pretty good shape. All right, there is a couple of there's one hose here on this one that you have to kind of pull off right here. I just kind of pushed it out of the way, and other than that, that's about it. All right, so let's go ahead and put this together and start her up and see if our leaks are gone. All right, I almost forgot that. You got these two plugs here. You got to unplug, no big deal. And it's all bolted on, and it had a funny looking idle set screw, but I've never had to adjust it. But it pushes on that piece we just replaced, pushes this out and moves this like this. You can kind of see the throttle move there a little bit. See that? That's how that works. So, all right, so let's go ahead and put the air cleaner on and start her up. All right, guys, it is the next day, and I've been driving it, and check it out. No more leaks. If I put my hand under there, it would get wet. And now, bone dry, so that took care of the leak. So, there you go, guys. That's how you fix that. If you like any of my videos, subscribe and say hi and all that. Until my next video, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.